It's somebody.
Oh, it's been said a bard's life can often be a hard life, or hill and jail to rove and always move from town to town. And some folk have inquired if ever we grow tired of ranging all around the world and never settling down.
But one should be a little wary of remaining stationary. 'Cause comfortable is lovely, but it's not the way we grow. When life starts to unravel, pick up your pack and travel. You'll find a strange serenity in places you don't know. Wriggle-dee-dum-dee-doo-rat-terry-o-dee. There's so much to see beyond the open door. It's outward bound we go. Who knows what we'll find that we've never found before. Adventures waiting further down the road. It's waiting for you further down the road. You've got no map for showing which direction you are going.
But why start on a journey if you know where it will end?
And once you recognize,
To anticipate surprise, you'll relish every twist and turn that lies around the bend. Wriggle-dee-dum-dee-doo-rat-terry-o-dee-da-dee-da-dee. There's so much to see beyond the open door. It's outward bound we go. Who knows what we'll find that we've never found before. Adventures waiting further down the road. It's waiting for you further down the road.
the world has got its demons. There are many reasons why you'd find it harder to be brave than be
But
afraid.
every life could use some danger. Every friend was once a stranger. Ships are safe in harbor, but that's not why ships are made.
Wriggle-dee-dum-dee-doo-rat-terry-o-dee, dee-dee, a fwit-dee-dee-dee-dee. There's so much to see beyond the open door. It's outward bound we go. Who knows what we'll find that we've never found before. Adventures waiting further down the road. It's waiting for you further down the road. Adventures waiting further down the road.
Let's go!
Hello, hello, Disco citizens. It is I, Madam Ansa, filling in for Mabo tonight, and we have got here the mistress of the needle, the lady who cannot be stopped, May Hammer.
Hi.
Hi.
There we are. I don't think I'm echoing too bad trying to do a 2-for-1 special here.
So we have a few things to talk about tonight, but one of those things, first and foremost, is what in the world May is going to be working on tonight with her crafty, crafty hands. But I thought I would do a little bit of household business if you want to think about that. So perhaps some of you know me. I am Madam Ansa, also sometimes known as Lady Thekla. We have over here May Hammer, who has done and been so many things on the channel, in the world. and in the world of Ert as well. She's now one of our good old friends, if I can say.
That's fine. That's fine.
Met my kids when they were little, and now they are men. So I guess it's been a while.
Grown-ups, what is happening?
Right? When they met May, they were like, no offense, but are you a grown-up or a kid?
Oh my God.
She was like, I'm playing video games in a onesie. I'm both.
Exactly. Depends on the day of the week, kid. Depends on the day of the week.
It was pretty awesome. I wanted to check in about a few of the things that might be going on around here. As you know, I'm filling in for Mabo because she's had a big week at home and could use a little bit of love and space. And perhaps we're going to be able to pop up her Ko-Fi if anybody wants. There it is. If anybody wants to send Mab a little material love, she could certainly use it to help cope with the week that she has had. That is, we try to give however we can, and whatever that is. Sometimes it's dollars, sometimes it's donuts, sometimes it's hugs. So whatever we can all do, just send her the love. It's always Mabo, just Mabo. We've also got of course, we have shows all week here at Nat21. There's all kinds of stuff. And this week I actually had the pleasure, I don't think I've ever in all these years made it to Flash Phantasmagoria, and I got to pop in a little bit today while I was scraping the paint off a bathroom ceiling. It was fun. I mean, I literally had on a adventurer's hat and glasses and a mask to try to keep all the ancient lead from falling into my face. So
that'd be bad.
So I didn't do any writing, but I was very entertained to hear the prompts, hear the community, and then the excellent royalty-free music that our mistress of the show put up. So I know that some of you were there. I'm looking at you, London. So that was the first time I ever got to be there for that, and that was great. I'm always impressed when I manage to catch the love and antics in this community. What else is going on? We've got some events coming up. I believe. Let me check my other. Okay, I believe that our very own Heathen Alchemist, which some of you know from the channel, who is also known as Zoran Tremad, who works for running Paulo and Mai's Dice Cart. I believe that Zoran's going to be adding a leather making craft show to the channel.
Yes.
Which I'm very excited about because Zoran is a badass and a very solid human and brings something new and fresh to the channel while being deeply nested in the middle of everything that we do. Zoran was there with us in the trenches of the super fan craziness of having Jack at Maryland, when we're dealing through like 10,000, crazy fans a day. Zoran was just there, resolutely selling people dice and pins. So we do love us some Zoran's even keeled creativity. And Zoran also joined us down in the New Orleans D&D tour as well. So some of you gotten a chance to know him better, and we're stoked to be hopefully adding him on here. And he's going to be going down to do the Sherwood Forest Fair, running our down there in Texas for a little change. I know that he this weekend is at what is it called? Mythicon, which is the fairy con that is happening in Gettysburg, I believe, in Pennsylvania this weekend. I believe that Zarkin says, yeah, Zoran fit right into the rest of the weirdos. Right? It was such a pleasure to have all of you there, but also to have Zoran, move between the worlds. I know Mab is going to be running over to Mythicon this weekend to spend some time with the fairy community over there, where I know, again, Zoran is there as well. And in some alternate universe, it starts tomorrow in Gettysburg. Yes, I loaded some stuff off to some other friends to bring up to Mythicon this weekend. So if you're not somewhere doing something else, go to Mythicon and see some of our folks. Some of our merch, some of our friends, some of our community are up there this weekend. I am not, because Paulo and I are headed off to do one of the Italy tours next week, and he is actually flying in from Sherwood right now.
Oh,
yeah. So here's what had happened. So as you're getting yourself set up, May. So coming up for us over here in Awesome Town, Paolo is running logistics on a tour outside Milan for a group of reenactors. This brings us back around to the world of reenactors, rent fairs, cosplay, etc. So the 500th anniversary of the Battle of Pavia is happening in February And that is the battle. Apparently, it was a big deal in history where the Lands Connect guys, the super gaudy murder clowns, they look like those punchy clown shrimp, but they were mercenaries from Germany, and they like changed the world of combat apparently in this particular week at this particular battle outside Milan. So a bunch of people have asked Paula to run logistics so that their group of reenactors could go and be part of the reenactment. And so Paolo had to get one of those crazy murder clown costumes, which I have to say I've never seen. I've known that man for a billion years. I've never seen him wear anything like that. But so our lovely friend and AbsFest sponsor QFIA was able to make his costume look really great. He looks like the living embodiment of a crazy Sicilian flag. So we're going to be running over there to run logistics on that tour. But in order to do that, he's got to go directly to Sherwood in Texas. So he left 2 days ago to drive 24 hours to Texas to drop off his gear at the fair. He's flying home right now so he can come home for our kid's birthday this weekend. And then we leave for Italy to run the tour to do those logistics. And then he has to fly directly from Italy. Those guys.
Okay, you know what? I'm here for it. It's
right?
aesthetic.
Is it
Landsknechts?
It's Landsknecht.
Landsknecht. Okay.
It looks like Landsknecht. They're land nice.
Yeah. I'm like
Landsknecht. It depends on your dialect. But
I
all of
love
those
it, though.
crazy, I don't know how they managed to fight in those clothes and not just constantly get snagged. As anyone who's ever worn like long sleeves, you know, those like long floopy romantic sleeves, and then try to do anything. You're like, how could anyone fight in this stuff? But so he now has one of those complete with the big stuffed cod piece. So if everyone is good, maybe we can get that into the Nat21 After Dark Discord.
I have questions because we had to have a whole conversation about cod pieces at CRF.
Oh, really?
And oh my God. That one was a joke that one of our admiral's cod piece showed up before he did.
Oh, yeah. To be honest, that's what they used to say about me when I was pregnant because my breasts got so huge, like absurdly, majestically proud of the ship huge. And people used to say over at the Raven Spittle, Ansa will be here soon. Her breasts have arrived. Spawning in. So yeah, he definitely has cod pieces. And the lady, one of our friend who like took the basic costume and made it, a little more bespoke, definitely padded it up and everything. So it is absurd.
Awesome. I can't wait to see pictures. This is gonna be great.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. And so he's got to so he's flying home now back to Virginia, and we'll get here tonight, and then we'll go there, do the things, and he's gonna fly directly to Texas. So basically, there's a lot going on logistically. The amount of like, if I pack this now, I will need it in Texas. Oh yeah, like we're doing a lot. So that's the ridiculous week we're having. Just logistically, aside from the fact that the world is on fucking fire, just logistically, it's been a lot of like, I'm living La Vida checklists right now in order to
get your look. You should see my to-do list. It's obscene.
Oh, I am sure. We see what else. What other points do I need to hit before we dive into the world of her costuming stuff? So Paolo is off getting ready to do the Milan thing. After that, we're gonna get back for those Ren Fair folks who are trying to keep track of him. He's going to do Sherwood, which is 2 months in Texas. And I'm delighted to say that Zip Flash, our kid who wants to be a veterinarian, is actually going to go and do a week-long internship with the Jousters. Those of you who are on the New Orleans tour, you got to watch the movie Nightlife. That guy, Dave, is going to do a week-long mentorship with our kid at the fair because while our kid has worked with raptors and vultures and sheep and cows or sheep and goats and stuff, he's never worked with horses.
Yeah, so, it's a whole other beast. That's a whole
literally giant war horses.
Yes.
So and it's an enormous beast. And so I'm excited that while I won't get to be there for it, the kid will get to go get some war horse time.
Yay!
And I was like, go watch the movie and you'll get super excited because if you haven't seen Nightlife yet, I know some of you have, but you should watch it. It's on it's on Vimeo and Prime and a bunch of things. It's out there in the internet. So it's a documentary that's set at Sherwood. So that's cool. Then Paula and I are going to run over to help with Mystify, which is Leah Orleans of Tiny Girl Big Show. She's running a women's magic convention in Las Vegas because Yeah, women are super marginalized in magic. It's a real bro club.
Oh,
And she
wow.
was like, you know what? She's a second generation performer. Her dad's a professional magician. She grew up, her mom was a box jumper. So she grew up in that environment. And she's like, I know all these people. I grew up knowing them. I can do better. So she's doing a woman. It is oriented towards women and non-binary people. And we are flying out there to do staff support and like push brooms and do whatever it takes to help further that.
Yeah.
So that's called Mystify. If anybody wants to like check that out, Mystify Magic Festival in Vegas, you definitely want a reason to go to Vegas. So,
Always.
so we're going to go out there to help with that. And then Mab's going to make some merch for me to take out to Krampus Con, which is in May in outside Seattle. And then I've got the Burlesque Festival. Mab, our fearless leader, often runs the raffle stuff at Abs Fest, which raises a huge amount of money for feral cats, which of course rescue cats is a cause near and dear to many of our hearts. And she has generated all the paperwork if anybody wants to donate anything to the raffle. We raised about $1,000 for the cats last year based on all the cool stuff that Mab had been able to get from the community in order to raffle off. So hopefully we can get that up in the chat or otherwise share it with everybody in the community, because I know some folks wanted to make donations of things to the raffle for Abs Fest to support one of our favorite causes. $2,000. Support one of our favorite causes, the kitties.
Itty.
Mm-hmm. So speaking of, let's loop around to our very own fantastic creature here. We've got May Hemmer, who is not only one of the stars and artists of Abs Fest and has been part of that mission and vision for a long time and part of Nat21, but is also a seamstressing crazy woman.
Yes.
Who has crossed over from like burlesque cosplay into actually being like the fancy people at the Ren fairs.
Yeah, that's something I've been dying to do. Hold on, we're gonna play Tetris real quick.
Yeah. So we're really here to watch May
water.
sew and craft or whatever, and you know, watch me watch her, because I'm just making notes.
Nope. Pro tip, y'all, if you have we're gonna ignore that sound. Pro tip, if you have a giant sewing machine and it's also part of your workspace and you decided you're gonna stream from there, it doesn't fit your tripod. So I'm pretty sure I just knocked over some water. Thank God, not on my machine. Okay.
May, speaking of which, if you have any suggestions for like the best way to film, I was just talking to a friend of the channel and friend of all of our causes, Claire Dima, about shooting some stuff, you know, sort of work in progress stuff for some of the upcoming projects for the Burlesque Festival. She was like, how do I sew and film at the same time? I live with a bunch of like really straight guys who are bad at framing and lighting. None of them can help me. What do I do? How do I film? So if you have any suggestions, maybe pass those on to the community and to her.
Yeah, I can make a post in the Discord. I've done a couple ways, but I feel like this is gonna be the best way. You know, when I don't have chaos reigning, I would be able to fit it. If I didn't have chaos reigning. Oh wait, hold on. Is this a plus 21 plus show? Is this adult show?
That's a great. Oh, is there something naked back there?
It's one of the legends. It's one of the burlesque legends.
It's so far away. I don't think honestly.
Okay, cool. All right.
I was like, yes, thank you. From here, it just looks like a very exciting pyramid, or maybe a vegetable. So I'm
awesome. I'm glad.
London says it's barely seeable, so it's not just me and my outdated prescription.
Okay,
you just zoom in on that. Great.
That is Tiffany Carter.
Just put your big head in front of it. Nobody will notice.
So today, oh gosh, I don't even know where to begin on this. I guess what I'm working on for what event, I guess.
Yeah, so May was running us through the list of some of the things. You know, she doesn't do anything by a half-ass. She is a whole-ass kind of gal.
And drive myself crazy.
And so she is, guys, she's crossed over from like being a, you know, bona fide burlesque starlet to cosplay person to now doing, yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Doing Ren Fair, where like, this is like talk about going from least clothes to most clothes.
I try.
Imagine Viking with all the wool and all of the, pelts and things.
That's my CRF girl. That's my Viking girl. Back to my CRF. Yeah, that is my Nurse Joy, my 18th century Nurse Joy. It brought me joy. I didn't mean that. This is funny. There's stories behind this. Well, if we have time, I'll tell you what's happening here. Yeah, so like Ansa was saying, I was a cosplayer first, and I got into burlesque, and then I went back to cosplay technically, even though I do nerd less, so I guess it's technically still cosplay. But I have reached that point in my life where my scoliosis has caught up while dancing. It's not terrible. I just can't do it 24/7 because the way in order to get my life back together, recovery time has gotten longer and longer. So I will dance for certain people, and outside of that, I ain't doing stuff.
And let me just say, we are so honored that, like, in a wide world where I know that you're like, you don't identify. Like, I knew you as Miss Montreal, like,
oh yeah.
Like, I know that you don't perform in that capacity for a lot of people, and the fact that you're like, I don't do that anymore, except for you guys. Like, it means a lot because
really, it's like you and maybe 2 or 3 other producers. That's it.
Because you're like, like you bring maximal engagement. Like, no audience person is ever, nobody ever falls asleep when you're
chaos. She's trying to say chaos, guys.
No, I'm saying like insane death drops and back bends off a table with built-in special effects. Like, so everything. Wait. Yeah, everything you bring to one of these dresses, you've also brought to everything I've ever seen you do. And you're always like, I didn't know it was May. I wasn't being sure that this is going to work out. And you always fucking deliver. So you can talk smack about yourself, but I happen to know that you are a masterful manifester.
Well, I honestly, I try sometimes. Fun fact, I don't think I ever told you because I didn't want y'all to feel some way. I actually blew out my knee at Abs Fest.
No!
And I didn't know when I did this like drop or something. And I just thought I pulled a muscle. And then in June, I went to perform. And then I took one turn and I couldn't walk.
Don't tell me that. Now I feel we're just going to cram the artist into the sausage grinder. Like, we're not trying to do that. Please
no. It was all me. I didn't land correctly. So that's what I get. And so I spent from June to January the beginning of January in PT.
To be honest, at this phase of our lives, most of us really need like physical and occupational therapy.
I mean, really though.
I mean, even if our lives weren't full of repetitive movement and sitting in chairs and walking on concrete and all of those things, like our ancestors, by and large, did not live as long as we do. Like, they didn't live long enough to need to worry about their teeth falling out. So we really, if we lived in a culture that valued wellness and sustainability a bit more, then like we would all be getting not just like speech therapy as kids or whatever, but also just like, do you know how to sit straight? Do you know how to engage your core? Like,
dude, this is why I have scoliosis, because they weren't due diligent. They made us bend over once in school. And now everybody, I'm 37, almost 38 years old with a giant S curve. It's a great time, y'all.
Yeah. Also, I mean, if you're scoliotic, as if that was a word, we're going to say that's a word.
It's a word now.
The culture of sexiness, as it is frequently defined in the West, values a popped butt. And like some people just naturally have juicy butts, and that's a great thing. Some of us are flat butt Irish girls, and we do what we can. But some people are just to have a naturally juicy butt. But we're also encouraged to stick it out.
Yeah.
And so like the amount of, and when you're 12 or 17 or 25, you may not have the same awareness that you wish that your spine will still work at 50. So there's just we're trying to
survive. Live.
Yeah. We're trying to live well, and we're trying to, if we're going to live longer, then we would like to be able to, tie our shoes and trim our nails and,
Yeah, I guess that's a thing we should do.
Survive inside, our hot flashes or our, hysterectomies.
I could talk about the hot flashes I've started, but I digress.
They didn't come for that. They came to hear about all of the fairs you're doing now that you've crossed over to being a respectable performer. like the rest of us on this channel.
So, well, let me start with, I obviously, in 2023 was my first year on cast at Carolina Ren Fair. I just auditioned anyway, so now I'm on the Queen's Court, and which is very exciting. When I was about 17, 18, I auditioned at a fair, and I'm gonna just be blunt about it. They told me I could not be on a court because I was brown.
Yep.
Make it make sense. So it kind of put me off for like a long time because that precedence was already set. So then as I got older, somewhere around 30, I said, screw this. I'm going to do what I want. So I think my first thing was actually because of Robert Turk. Because he recommended me for this fairy festival in Shepherdstown, West Virginia. And that was my first gig as a queen. So I learned a lot from that experience. Maybe like now I understand why people have a couple of handlers, not just, whatever. Now I understand, certain things. And it's kind of hard to, navigate that, to hire other people, to do that, especially if it's like a volunteer thing or stuff like that. Because I'm working with kids. Like I love working with kids, and I used to be a party princess. So it's really easy for me to be that, kid friendly, approachable. So that was my first one. And then
can I interject for a second and just point out that, like, for anybody who's not familiar and hasn't, like, some of us just kind of focus on the entertainer, the pro acts and stuff at fair, or are just in the pubs. But the thing about what May is doing is that not only do you have to be on your best friggin' behavior all the time because you really have to hold down the time period. But like once she's in her full garb, like she cannot see her feet all day. Like if you want to manage to, like, if you need to have a drink and use the bathroom, you actually legit need a pit squad in order to survive a Ren Fair day. And if you've been to fair doing just hanging around, you know how grueling it can be, let alone in this like very, it's a very demanding, very elaborate, very demanding. And like literally no person can do what May does without literally support.
Yeah. And so, it's a little crazy because I'm gonna tell you, I do hydrate like I'm supposed to, but I still have that mom bladder. So I try to hold it down because, guys, even though they give us the huge porta potties in our break area, right? The problem is when you lift everything up that you've put in a certain order, it's not gonna look the same when you drop it back down. Your hoop skirt's cattywampus, your chemise is God knows where. You can't find your stockings because they have just fallen right down to your ankles and you're trying to pull them up over everything else. But yeah, whoever's ever needed to you know what? Still couldn't do it. Couldn't be me. But yeah, so that's pretty much it. And then I picked up Festival of Legends down here because of Emma. And then I auditioned and here I am in the foolishness that is festival world. But yeah, so I guess I should tell y'all what I'm working on. That might be important. So it's my first year at Eastern North Carolina Ren Fair, and I'm on the Queen's Court as a visiting. I'm not a noble. I'm actually an Italian courtesan, and I know. I'm still working on my accent. It's terrible. But
girl, I can help you with that.
Yeah, I know. I gotta hit you up. Because I've been practicing from listening to Babel and stuff. Anyway, so I have an Italian courtesan, which means unlike the other ladies of the court, I don't have to wear 4,000 pounds of fabric. I get to wear like a little crinoline floof, a bodice, an underskirt, an overdress, and a gramota. Like that. I mean, seriously, that's all. And I'm like, I can go to the bathroom just fine in April. Like it's gonna bring me joy. Anyway, so I'm working on that. I found out can't remember when I found out, but I've been working on this outfit probably I think I've only been on this for a month now because I found out I had to figure out what I want to do, design and everything. So courtesans used to wear show pants, which is anybody that's seen the geishas, but they're not geishas. They're called oiran. They're the high-end Japanese courtesans. And if anybody's seen the giant shoes that they wear, a lot of the courtesan, this is what the Japanese, I have to find a picture of it or something. But unless you want to go backstage, Ansa, and type in OIRAN shoes. Why are you doing that? A lot of courtesans had that height. There was a couple of reasons before. It was, first it was a thing for them so they can show their high status, even though they're not titled. But then it caught on in Italy a lot faster because then these other women realized, dang, if I'm this many inches off the ground, I won't drag my clothing, do horse dung, and God knows what else. So you can't just buy show pans, and I'm not working on this on screen because you'd never hear me with hammering. So let me explain something to you. So the Italian show pans are tall, and they can be, yeah.
Okay, so think if like Kiss kaiju flip flops.
Yes.
These are like enormous. I can't even, but they're like enormous platform.
Yes,
shoes.
that's the Japanese ones.
Yeah.
So I'm making some Italian show pans, and obviously you can't just buy them, and it's hard to find someone that will make it for you. So I did what any other cosplayer does, and I'm gonna wing it from one tutorial done by a person that didn't even know what she was doing. So essentially I took some high density foam. So I just got literally a yoga block, which is high density foam. And I carved out the shape that I want. So the tough part is going to be putting the leather and cushioning on here, and then putting the parts you tie. And then I got to cover all this in fabric, all of it. So I have to draft all that. So that's going to be a pain in the butt, but that's what these are for, because I come to this. These pink things here, I'm making a pair of breeches. A lot of the, I'm trying to remember. So there's normal courtesans, and I think I'm going to butcher it on, so I apologize.
Okay.
The ones that were called honest courtesans, which are people that were highly educated, whatever, they were sanctioned, not, someone in the brothels and stuff. So I think it was, cortesiana honesta or something like that. So it's honest courtesan.
Sure.
Whatever. We'll see how that comes out when I look it up to say it. So they used to wear breeches, not bloomers. They used to wear men's pants under their gowns instead. Mainly because they thought it was a little more daring, a little more risque. Plus, a lot of these chicks knew how to sword fight. Like, they weren't just dainty princesses. Yeah, they read. Yes, they wrote poetry, but they did a lot of unconventional activities for women at the time. Sword fighting, normal horsebacking. Like, they don't wear like the sides out. They have their breeches on and they're ready to go. Like,
they're like highly educated sex workers.
Yes.
Like, they're already people who, by very definition, they're simultaneously sanctioned by culture and transgressive. So, like, of course they're going to flow in to fill all the fucking awesome things.
Yeah.
I'm fucking sword fight too. Yes. Like, just like La Maupin.
Yeah. And it's funny because they had a lot of political pull. If you ever look up a lot of the most famous Italian ones, one was a writer, one had her own books published, and a lot of times when the men become their patrons, it wasn't just for the physical aspect. It was also because, this girl knows who I need to talk to get to this.
Oh, yeah.
So he's paying her exorbitant amounts of money just so she can get him in the right circles.
Absolutely.
Period. And I love a hustle. Don't get me wrong. Like, I respect a hustle. I think in a past life, I would have hustled like that too. But anyway, so I'm making breeches. My costume, let me grab my dummy real quick. Move shoes. So this is the overdress I'm working on. Ignore all this. So this is the actual color scheme I'm going for, which is like a coral pink and like this pink, green, and gold diamond. So I'm gonna have little hidden gems. So like the breeches are gonna be like baby pink with hot pink embroidery dots. So it's actually a men's pattern, which, pro tip, I hate making men's pants because of the way the inseam is and how they structure the crotch portion of it. I just gave up and did what I wanted to. So what I'm about to do is, so everything's done. Everything, I know they look giant right now. I have my tabs in the back. So instead of doing like, they would typically do like in the historical pattern I got, they did like little buttons. Yeah, I'm lacing this stuff in because I'm a princess. So I got this hot pink twill tape that I'm going to use to lace these pants in. Will anybody see them? Probably not, but I know they're there. and I want to be cute under there. Because I'll do anything for an aesthetic. So right now,
practical question from the back.
Yes.
Do you feel any practical compulsion as a person working in the in some ways hostile Ren Fair environment? It's hot, bathrooms are germy, and I mean, all bathrooms are germy, but
yes,
the Ren Fair Porta John experience, like, are you having to make any accommodations for, like, I just want a split seam where I could do my business, or are you actually still making something you have to pull down your knees and back up?
So I was contemplating. I still do it, like, and I'm probably gonna. I hope the lady that's my queen won't hear this, but so I do the same layers, and what I used to do is an IKEA bag and cut the hole in it. So I would step in it, and it would pull all my skirts up. My arms go in the handles, and then I pee that way.
Sure, yeah.
So I just pull it up. Now, what I think I'm going to do is actually turn my bloomers into split bloomers.
Okay, that's why I was wondering, because I mean, walking around like an uneven, more of a rustic Ren Fair site, like I can see somebody was saying something about Turned Ankle City, like the tall shoes. Obviously, you're going to need to put in some time on the mat to make sure you can walk safely, but they do elevate you well above the junk that is the fear in a Ren Fair porta potty, especially at the end of a fair day, is just like you're trying not to touch anything. Every human's having their own experience. As a person who performed at length in elaborate belly dance costumes, you basically flip your skirt up and hold all, because you didn't want your tassels and sequins dropped.
Oh God, no, yeah.
You get everything bundled up and get into your lap, and you sort of hold it here like the front of a witch's broom, so everything is scooped up, and that way you could get those split bloomers not onto the seat, but near the seat to do
cover.
What you need to do.
That's going to be called leg day, everybody. Leg
day.
Absolutely.
Every day is leg day if you need to squat but not touch, which is a great cue for all of Southern Italy. Also, because although I love it, there's really not any toilet seats in any public spaces there. So if you were a sitter, you do not sit unless you just really do not mind.
Oh, okay. I'll take note.
Just be prepared. Just get your leg day up.
Thank you for helping me.
Yeah. Oh no.
Also, if people are saying stuff, just like flash it or something, because I can't see squat. Because
I will tell you right now. Here's the comments. Hover technology. As someone who wears layered skirts to fair, Kara's like, I feel so seen right now. Darken's like, I'm learning more than I ever needed about how this goes. Also, the old Ren Fair squat. I can honestly say I have never, ever in my life sat down in a Ren Fair loo. You just don't sit,
I never sit on public toilets, or if I have to, I'll do the old fashioned toilet paper lay. If they don't have the sanitary covers, I'll go old school, and still I'm barely touching that because I'm kind of a germaphobe.
I mean, like there's the logistical component, and there's also just, like everyone at a Ren Fair is on a work day is coming from a different place.
Yep.
You're still working on lunch, and somebody else is already hammered. Like not everybody is functioning with the same set of skills.
No.
You're just trying real hard to make sure nobody has a problem.
I've seen that so many times. But yes, while I'm poking hole in my pants, I will tell everything that I'm doing. And y'all ask questions. Ooh, that's probably too big of a hole.
We've got some agreements about the never sit on the public loo. We got
no, never.
The respect festival.
Yeah, see, now I'm just getting icky about thinking about it. So right now I am putting holes in my pants because when I tell you it's grommet time, it's grommet time. So this is my grommet press. She's not very fancy, but she gets the job done. She has given me a battle wound 1 year because I was getting ready for Dragon Con at the last minute, as you do, and I was in a rush to put in a grommet, and I let it go, and it popped back up and hit me in the face. So I had a nice little like busted lip. And trying to figure out how to go to Dragon Con and not look like I got punched in the face. So I just want to say, I want to thank God for my Lord and Savior drag queen friends, because they told me exactly how to fake that.
Right.
But yeah, she's a little sturdy.
It's adorable.
She's kind of aggressive. So yeah, I pre-do the holes before I put in the grommets. So that way, because some people do like this weird snipping thing. I don't know why. But I'm not.
One of the comments is "Dat Grom girl not messing around."
No, she's abusive.
Also, Evelyn is sanding and crafting along with us. Kara says she practices selective dehydration at
yes,
Kara,
yes, I have done that. I have like drank water, but at certain times in certain amounts, so that way it's not all hitting me at once. And trust me, I can wait till I get to my camper if I do that.
Same thing also on flights. Like as I'm about to do an overnight flight and you're balancing the dehydration on a plane is actively dangerous.
Yeah.
But, you know, again, after 7 hours, again, you're trying not to touch anything if you're worried about that sort of thing, as many of us are.
Grommy.
Grommy.
So yeah, this girl, I'm trying to see. What do you want me to talk about?
How many grommets you got to do?
Oh, I'm only doing 8 on this. So my bodice, however, that's for my dress, for my Italian girl, I have to have like 18 grommets I have to put in. And it's very, oh my God, it's Dana.
Oh my God, Revelyn! So normally this is Mab's show. So I'm stepping in to help Revelyn. I'm helping out tonight and getting to hang out with our girl. So I was hanging out with Revelyn for the last like 2 days and it was the best.
Oh yeah, I love her. But yeah, so she needs 18. My bodice needs 18. If I can go less, I usually do, unless it's structured in a way that I have to do it the entire way down at certain spaces. I don't typically need a lot of support in some ways, which is why if I can put more boning in the back, I can, and it helps with my back. But because of the style of this, I have to be like, so hopefully my goes up and all that stuff.
Can I translate that as, for you, it's less about support in the bust,
yes,
and more about supporting your scoliotic back?
Okay. Yes. And I'm gonna tell you guys, walking around all day at a fair, especially with a back in Tudor shoes, which BT Doves, I don't know how they walked around in those without inserts. That sounds like pure torture to me.
Just remember, they died early.
I mean, look, that is probably why they just
like, probably like, you know what? Bring me the plague because my plantar fasciitis is killing me.
No.
Everyone wants to know, she says, I'm making my first leather corset. Do you have any advice?
Cry. No. So obviously you want to make a mock-up of the corset. You know, don't just go into your leather, especially since you said you've never done a leather corset. I would make sure, if you don't already have a mock-up for your body, I would definitely do it out of like muslin or something like that. But if you want something closer to the, you know, the texture, maybe get something like, I don't know what's equivalent to leather. I was about to just say friggin' cardboard, but then again, you know, what do I know? So yeah, I would do a mock-up.
Revelyn says foam. Make it out of foam.
Oh, there you go. I don't do. Man, somebody needs to teach me that EVA foam, because I actually hate it. I'll stick to the needle that can stab my hand before I do that. Or I'll pay somebody to make it. But yeah, so that's what I would do. And then when you yes, poster board. That's even better. But after you do that, test it with industrial zip ties. You know, wait, hold on. No, we're talking about leather. Just kidding. So you're good to go. I started going into for like a normal like fabric corset. My brain just went in autopilot mode since I'm in the middle of making it. And speaking of making, I do have a bad habit of working on more than one thing at a time. So just so y'all are aware, I will give you the list of everything that I have to make by March by April. I don't have to worry about March. I have these breeches, I have a bodice, I have an underskirt, I have an overdress, I have my gamura, I have my fan that I'm making, I have to make my purse, and then for my festival, I got to make a brand new dress because apparently the photos have gotten old. And the wig I have to style for my Italian girl because it's like the horn ones with all the crazy curl. Oh, I can't wait. Which is why I have these. This is how I'm gonna figure it out. I bought a whole bunch of tracks, wefts, I don't know what they call them today, of hair, the same color as the wig I'm using. And I'm just gonna wrap it around and then add the curls to make it look less like it's on plantar foam. Because
whatever, they would have used it if they had it. They just,
I mean, I'm pretty sure. No, it's like, who's gonna know? Like the meme, who's gonna know? No one's gonna know.
If anybody's come up to grab your horns and test them for authenticity, they've already gone too far. So, you know.
Look, my favorite part was when I was doing the black work for my chemise black work embroidery, guys. It's just embroidery in fancy ways for women to show off that they had skills. But my black work file, because I put it in my embroidery machine, the dogs and cats, not so much the pheasants, were anatomically correct. I thought that was going to be a problem. So I said, hey, I know I showed this to you, but there's a little extra on the dog and cat. And she goes, oh, I saw it. I was like, okay. She's like, that was normal. Everything was nature. And trust me, she's like, if somebody's that closer to see your dog's wing, there's a problem first.
Okay, so I have to tell you, so when Revelyn was here, so Revelyn came up from where they are to Richmond to go to a drag event up here for like a Dragula type thing. Yes. And they looked amazing. I felt like such the like world's most boring person. I stayed home and moved the piano and stuff instead of going to the drag show. But it was a big day. So Revelyn made this amazing like block printed hankies for their courtesan friends.
Oh, yes.
And they made them out of traditional, like, you know, the crazy medieval marginalia of all the like flying penises and all that stuff, which are 100% historically accurate. And Claire actually got me one of those pilgrimage medallions that are like the holy vulva, like walking along in the water. This was normal for people. We are so uptight compared to the people.
Like, we went backwards to me. Like, why are we? I mean, you got Botticelli just out here painting whole naked people.
Right. You know? I mean, there are some ways in which we're like, okay, this part is cooler. And then other parts where you're like, how, you know, anyone who ever was in a barnyard at this time had no illusions about how things work. Meanwhile, our culture is desperately trying to make sure no one knows how anything works anatomically.
Shocking.
There it is. In the marginalia of your Bible is literally like flying penises, whatever. This is our medieval history.
Yep. And it's funny. And that actually brings me to our my Viking people. A lot of the guys have found that the art and stuff and the actual person that makes it, where they make penis necklaces. So it's just a peen with wings on it.
One time I had a birthday party. I was at an artist colony in North Carolina up in the mountains, blah, blah, blah. And it was like, it's your birthday. And they had stuck bones into the top of the cake. And they're like, you'll never guess what those are. And I was like, well, actually, I was an amateur taxidermist. I know exactly what they are because raccoons have distinctive curved penis bones. And they had a bunch of them and stuck them into my cake instead of candles. And I was like, oh, you cannot shyster because I know exactly what those are.
No, you there's no going back. I'm just like, you got some good friends to put.
Evelyn says, where can I sign up for Dance Nude in the Moonlight at midnight? I mean, we can arrange that.
You know what? That's every third Friday at 9 p.m. We try and stick closer to the new moon. But
also depends if we're having a 19-degree day like we had last week or a 68-degree day, because I personally do not want to dance in my nethers when it's 19 degrees.
19, no, but where I'm from in New Orleans, anything below 70 is against the law.
Right. And meanwhile, your people are buried under snow.
Well, they finally got rid of the snow. Now instead they have to deal with the Super Bowl.
Buried one way or the other.
Guess what? A certain person's going to the Super Bowl too. I'm gonna leave it at that.
Yep.
Yuck.
Yeah, because what New Orleans needs is some like layered on extra BS to deal with. If you're just joining us, it's been almost an hour of chitty chat.
I know, we're over here.
If you're just joining us, I want to mention that you have joined the Mab Labs. Our special guest this evening is Mayhemmer, and I am subbing in for our Mabo tonight as she takes a mental health day. I am Madame Ansa, and we are just watching May craft amazingly complicated and well-informed, capable shit out of all of her Manny, look at that. Oh my gosh.
What? Well, yeah, it's fun. I love to incorporate a little history. And honestly, I just get happy when I can talk to you guys. I actually had a couple people DM me. So when are you coming back to Nat21?
Yay!
Are you gonna start playing again? I said I was like, I would talk to them once I get rid of some things in my life. Well, those things have gotten rid of. So now I have almost every night free except for Wednesdays.
I am so happy to hear it. And
so I'm like, I'm gonna mess with them once I get my life together. And by get my life together, I mean kind of pretend I know what I'm doing with these pants.
That's what all of us are making it up.
Exactly. You know, I'm just winging it.
You're a parent of young people. There's a big part of like, hey kids, what age do I tell you that we're all just doing our best? And that's
fake it till you make it.
At 12 or 32 or 62, you're still just going, this makes sense. Is this working?
I mean, there's stuff I've done, and now that I do it older, and I'm like, this didn't go right. And what the world was I doing the entire time?
Buy yourself a better buy the best class of grommet maker you can afford. That's my practical advice.
I mean, pretty much. Honestly, this is an Amazon special.
Really?
It was on sale on Black Friday. I got this since 2018. I paid maybe like $20 for her.
That's amazing. It looks so serious. That color makes it look like it's from like 1964 or something.
Well, you can actually drill this one. It has holes in it. Drill it into a table, so you don't have to keep moving it.
Oh yeah.
But since I do stuff so much, I just leave her. Right. You know,
in your case, mobility is the jam. If you're just joining us, also I want to mention, so it's Nat21 Adventures. We have a bunch of things coming up. Mayhemmer has been a player on the channel many times, and in many, because you've done not only the like Nat21 Tuesday shows, but you've also done
Gothic horror.
Gothic horror.
We did Robert Turk's tester game.
Right. You did some beta testing. Did you do Savage Moon too, maybe?
Yes, I was Savage Moon crew. Where
you've been all over the place.
Extended, like, I don't know. And then I was a guest as a succubus one time, remember?
Oh my God. There's a lot of lore on this channel, and I realize not everyone has time to like go back and listen to every episode of everything because it is a whole world, you guys. But the part where her and the amazing actor singer Arthur Rowan from Spamalot had a like succubus alchemist romance, it was like a high point of action.
It was so funny because like, remember how she set something on fire in this? I was like, he was like, do you want to run away? Boom, wraps. Poof. Like it was.
Oh my God, it was good. And they burned the whole place down.
And then I burned everything in the ground.
Let's take a minute to go back through the comments because that's what we're supposed to do here in the universe. Kara Chappell said old-timey people used to use raccoon penis bones as toothpicks.
Yes.
Okay, I have not done that. I'll have to add that to my bucket list of things to do before I go. Well, because it was Kara was being censored by the Autobot, which thought that was a bad word. What else is going on?
And y'all rapid fire, y'all. This is your time. I'm just here to entertain you.
There's some condolences for Mab and the big man about the loss of their beloved fur friend. London says succubus hen party.
I mean, wait, do you remember that one too, where we did like a game with okay, so
I wasn't there, but London is saying I remember it being an inspiration for the succubus hen party at the in between. So I'm sorry I missed that. I too will have to go back.
Oh my God, that's awesome. A legacy has begun.
I need you guys to help me keep up with the things that I missed, because once COVID was over, I could no longer make this my full-time alternate universe.
I was trying to, and then burlesque started again, and people were actually coming to shows, so I had to ride that wave while I could.
We both have young people that require constant feeding, watering, and cleaning, so you got to make choices.
Right. I mean, it is what it is. But yeah, no. We had a lot. There's a lot of foolishness. Like when we're like, what was the one? I think it was with. No, it was with my succubus, because we remember we had the girl group that went out drinking and stuff.
I think that must be
the hand party. But I'm trying to remember. Like I'm reminiscing now. I'm just like, yes, the succubus.
That was good.
Anyway.
That was a good business. So I'm at home here in Awesome Town. Paulo built me a studio in his few minutes. He had like a week. It was fucking 90 degrees too. 19 degrees while he was out there because of course it got really cold. On our old porch, he like took out all the old, Florida room windows and put in real windows and put in insulation and all that stuff so that I would actually finally have some designated space. Because in this crazy sprawling house, I have to move all my stuff off the table every time I want to like actually do the arting, and then make the dinner and vice versa. So he just made me some amazing space, and I'm so grateful.
Love follow you guys.
He's a pretty amazing guy. But then the person moving everything around, I'm like setting up his stuff and going, oh right, look, it's the little tiny Vardo, that the little wagon that you and Archimedes were in, and that kind of burned down. Right, I literally just moved that tiny artifact as I was shifting everything around.
That's so funny. That is so funny. I know we can spend last few times. Okay, everybody, let's play the game of Are You? Oh, okay. So you can definitely talk to us about photos and stuff like that. Just know that if we're on our way to the joust, it's nothing personal. We just have to be there at a specific time, especially now that we have princesses. But yeah, like you can talk to us. If you stick around and follow, I can still like have a conversation with you, but it's going to be in character, not as May. I know I ran into some people that from Nat21 that came to the festival, and I had to act like I didn't know they were calling my name because they kept saying May, and I didn't answer, which is a whole hard, y'all. That is hard to do when it's people you know. And so then finally they tapped me, and I was like, oh, you must have me mistaken for my cousin. Is there a message you would like me to relay to her? I know I look just like her. The genes run strong in my family. But so but no, you're more than welcome to ask for photos. Say hey. You already see what my Ren Fair gown looks like, and if you want her name, it's Lady Selena Kitts, the Countess of Catford.
Is it Kitts?
Kitts.
Or the kid all the way, MNFer.
So I straight up got to be 16th century Catwoman because her hobby outside of being a lady in waiting, her other hobby is hiring pirate ships and having them steal stuff. And then she says, oh, look what my merchants found for the treasury, but I only give her like a fourth of it.
And anybody who doesn't know, Eartha Kitt's daughter was actually named Kit. She actually named her daughter. Her first name was Kit. And then that's why I was inspired by Eartha Kitt, to me the only and truly Catwoman. Because she had that purr down to an art form. Actually, I'm glad you said Kit. So one girl, her character is named Lady Cat. And we're both kind of cat and, whatever. So when we were doing a bit, we went, this is Lady Kit and I'm Lady Cat. And now it's time for us to take a break. That's very cute.
That's the whole crew in the back were dying. And you can see what patrons realized, and they just died laughing.
Okay, that's really cute. Give me a break. Awesome.
Yeah, they were like, what?
I would like to point out that Gabe from Australia was like, oh, sigh. Yeah. Maybe it's an Aussie thing. Like, I mean, we know that's dorky humor here too. It's just, maybe it's differently nostalgic.
I don't know. I've been hearing things because I have two little boys. They are 8 and 10, and they'll start using this slang, and all I could think was, did I get on my mom like this? Get on her nerves when I start speaking? Mm-hmm. Is this how it felt?
Right?
I was like, I don't like this.
Yes. My kids follow me around and harangue me about the finer points of this or that, like science fiction franchise. Girl, I'm glad you're developing the capacity for critical thought, but do I look like I actually have time to care about what George Lucas is doing? Like, I literally moved a piano by myself today. I do not.
You're like, I don't care about George Lucas and his money unless he's going to give me some of that.
It is fine, but it's like
ridiculous. Ooh, one real quick thing I want to ask. When it comes to sewing, how many are you of like chaotic evil? There's a whole myriad, right? But what they like to call people like me in the sewing world, that don't draft, they like to call us chaotic evil, because if we ruin the fabric, we ruin the fabric. If we don't ruin the fabric, so that's what we're like. We're just gonna take the pattern, cut it out, go for it. Like no drafting, no testing it. Like this, I didn't test this crap. I just put it together and moved on about my life. But that is a way that for me works at times, because I know how to do the technique already, so I won't screw it up. So I want to know how many of you guys are against the grain, that you follow directions or go through the proper steps, or are you like me, you start at 1 and then go to like 105 seconds?
Well, Gabe says they don't even pattern sometimes.
I know, right?
I can honestly say for myself that my temper, Paulo is like, I watched the video, I studied the manual, and now I can build it from memory. And I'm like,
yes.
I spread all the parts around the floor, lost the manual, and used it as a coffee coaster, and then try to figure it out. Like pure Gemini, like.
Oh, see, I knew that's what you had to be. I did not realize you were a Gemini.
Dude, I literally cannot stop talking.
And
Revelyn says, I don't follow any directions. It's a lick and a prayer. It looks good. Evelyn says, most of the time I just print off and go.
Yeah. I wish I could just print off and go, you guys. And
meanwhile, the structured individual among us said instructions are there for a reason. So
but are they though?
So London, does that make you like a lawful good or something? Does that make you like the paladin of manuals? Like, what does that mean?
I think it's like literally lawful good. I mean, they'll probably smite you for doing it incorrectly. Like,
that is not how it is in the holy book.
My grommets are in.
Hey, look at that.
Grommets.
Oh, that makes me someone who doesn't sew. Okay, I stand corrected, London. Thank you.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Oh dang, okay. I just dawned on me. I was like, what?
I mean, I say I don't sew. I literally just did a repair today and a repair yesterday. But I am not a like May and Paolo are structural sewers. Like I built a thing and it will endure. I am like am I the only person who noticed that the inside fell out of this pillow? I'm gonna sit down with my silver thread that I happen to find on the thing and sew it together, and it's good enough. Like I'm that person who is just literally,
like, it'll do.
If I could do it with this, what's like a cantrip, like some like easy peasy thing.
Oh yeah.
Easy peasy thing for me is, 10 stitches and nobody's ever going to care, because I'm not I'm not here to compete.
You're just like, I won't lie. Depending on what it's for, I'm going to tell you right now, don't ask me what a lining is.
And yet you are, I would describe you, friend, as like in some respects, super effing type A in some ways. Like, yeah, like when sewing is your love language of managing anxiety, you're going to do everything perfectly.
Honestly, that's pretty much it right there. Anything to keep me going through this crazy alternate universe that I did not sign up for.
Yep, this is the worst timeline. Okay, London says the only thing I wing is my own writing, which you do quite well, friend.
See, you win. I don't do all that.
Right. And then Nina Lee is here. So hi, Nina Lee. It's all right. Welcome. I'm late. We're just talking shop about all the things about how different people learn, how different people art. How different people manage porta potties at the fair, and how our costumes have to adapt to suit our management style when it comes to staying hydrated and appropriately dehydrated.
Yep.
So now you're caught up. That's really it.
Yeah, but now I want to know how many people whose sewing room looks great, or it's gonna look like a tornado went through it. That's what I'm curious to know.
Personally, I've never been in a sewing studio that wasn't in a bridal shop that didn't look like a tornado, because not that bridal sewers, whatever the word is, bridal tailors can't be artists, but I feel like those are it's like if the Paul Hollywoods of the world came along and said, you got to demerit because you can't have chaos in your studio if you're dealing with Godzillas and a lot of white, right? Everything's got to be like white and stain free. So I feel like, but everybody else I've ever seen is like Quad Kevin says, my sewing room is when I pull my machine out of the closet, put it on the folding table of the middle of the room. Revelin says one of the Dragula curses was to get ready in a porta potty. And I think I could handle it with all the hassle I've suffered at fairs in Penzic, which is like the Uber fair.
I have so many people now that I know because of my Viking stuff that want me to go to Penzic so bad. And I'm just like, I had to commit to that for like a hot minute. Like I can't just go for 3 days and then leave.
No, if you ever go, you have to tell me. I will find a way to get back there. I stopped going because it's easier for me to stay out in the other world and make money rather than spend money. But
yeah,
these were cool when I met. It's a pretty, it does have there's some magic there. Crafting Chaos, says Evelyn. GCB Whippy says, wheel.
Yep.
Okay, Nina Lee says, how about forgetting to lock the porta potty at a fair one day and having someone open the door, luckily mid pulling down the third layer, so nothing showed. That's classic.
You know what? That's a good one. Oh, let's see.
I had my name announced from the stage in the porta potty one time. Like the set had been lagging, and I was like, I've been standing here waiting to go on forever. And finally, like, I have got to go. I got the pre-show ghost fiddles, ran off to the porta potty, got everything down, and I heard them saying, "Now, Madam Ansa." I
bet you were like, no.
And I was like, there's no way, like, based on what's happening right now, there's no way I'm pulling my pants up and running on stage. I was like, they're just going to have to write it out. And they're like, or we'll do the next act. Like, that is like,
that's an option.
Yeah, that's a professional nightmare right there, is having your name called when you are literally in mid-stride in the porta-john.
That's when you need like a whole, like, just an earcom system.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, that's
need a personal assistant. Tell them that I said, just stretch it out. I'll be there in, 20 sheets. Quad Kevin says, oh no, we got Quad Kevin, we got Dragula. Oh, Neely and Zarkin are saying, hey. Revelin says, right now my sewing room is neat, but it's about to get wrecked. It's either or.
I mean, I can do an ugly reveal of what my sewing room looks like right now because I'm making 6 garments at the same time.
Do it.
Hold on, let me grab. Let's see if I can undo her.
Right. Such a fuss every time.
All right, now you can see my face. We're going to have to do it this way because I don't think
it's so weird. I can see like your face and your hands are small and far away, but then your breast
Isn't it funny?
Close.
All right, so this is the gown that I'm working on. Okay. We don't talk about Bruno over here. We're just going to glide right past this work table era. And then over there in the gold is the gown that I've thrown to the corner 5 times because it's lame and it's the devil's fact. This is my baby. This is my machine. On the software, her name is Big Bertha. She is a FAF machine. It's a creative icon too for people that know what that means. But she's an all-in-one embroidery and sewing machine. Anywho, so there's my clothing rack for stuff that I get mad at. Now these are my pride and joy. I took boxes. My husband bought me these, and all my stuff that's like everything from paint to resin to leather stuff is all between these 2 tool bag thingies. I don't know what he actually calls them. All right, back to my thing. But yeah, that's what my room looks like right now.
Okay, here's the word from the people. London says, I've never had a clean crafting space. Evelyn says, my craft is the table. There is part in my bedroom, my closet, and the garage. London says, my writing space, however, must be spotless. Gabe compliments you on your shit looking ordered. So well done there. Revelin says, your work table is so real, no surface uncovered.
No.
Toolboxes look nice. Toolboxes are a must.
Yes, I love it. I really do. And they both lock in case my kids get on my nerves.
Nina Lee says, they have the same toolbox and use those.
Mm-hmm.
This is me reminding you that I still need you to make an embroidered Nat21 thing for me to sew on Paulo's hat.
Oh, that's girl. You gotta remind me.
This is me reminding you. I gave you a year before I loop back around.
Girl, I try and tell people. I'm like, okay, and like, I've gotten better now that I got my diagnosis. It turns out I have been bipolar this whole time, which is why I have the sewing mania that I used to. I mean, not that it stopped. Like, I'm still a sewing maniac.
I got zero judgment for the fact that you got a lot going on. It's fine.
Well,
I just,
no, it's kind of like, but now I can actually, so now like you'll be like, okay, so I can actually write my to-do list. Like, I have a physical to-do list. So that way it's like the gratification of me. Yep. So that's what I've been telling people to do. See, they're all pretty now. This is the bag.
I can't believe you're going to wear something that color. Like, it would look so cute on you. But the minute I put that on, I would feel like I was trying to do a Miss Piggy impersonation. Like,
look, don't knock on Miss Piggy.
She's the ass kickingest of blondes. I just, you got some compliments on them being pretty and cute.
Thank you.
I mean, you're super cute. I just
tell me more. I'm getting old.
Nay, we are here to validate you and also everyone, because we are all artists in our own way, whether that is as writers or just people trying to bring some glory into the world. It is all good. I'm going to turn off my camera for a second and run to the loo because I need a quick break. I'll be right back. So charm the people with your endless charm.
Yes, because I'm only going to be able to see whoever's on StreamYard or where it is, because I'm running on 2. So hi, this is your entertainment. This is where Ansa messed up and let me oh my god, I love you too, Revelyn. I choose chaos. So if anybody wants to type in the chat, 3, what's the most complex thing? Oh Lord. It looks very simple, what I made. It's really pretty. It's one of my original pieces for my Fairy Queen. But it was a structured bodice corset. So I had to have the corset essentially mold to my body, but then for the top, I had to actually put in the support. I don't think I have that one. I don't know if I sent the Fairy Queen. Anyway, so like I had to put cups into that one. Yes. Pain in my butt. But see, the whole corset bodice actually has like 12 pieces of boning in it. And it's not really support for me, but the structure, you can see where the bust area is, was a little hard to do, because even though the corset pieces are in one, once you sew them together, it's finding that curve on your body if you were someone with chesticles. And that it molds to you. So it looks simple, but it was really terrible, especially since that center part is layered fabric to get the design that I wanted. So I had to put that together and pray that it didn't mess up. But that was the most terrifying thing to me, because you've made it around the inserts that you have to put in. And then next thing you know, well, you don't have Anyway, I don't know if you have any more questions, or we can just pop around my pictures. Wonderful as in chaos. Okay, hold on. Let's stop right there. Wonderful as in chaos. I'm really glad. But no, I'm honored when I get to talk to people and know that I've made a good impression. All jokes aside. So you know what? Let's start with that one. So this gown, first of all, these sleeves are new. I changed the original outfit from 2023 and used silk instead and changed the sleeve types. Pro tip, as much as I love Margot Anderson, this was a nightmare for me because my brain hurt. So at this system, this is in Woods Walk the lanes, and we come across this POC photographer, and he thought we were just patrons. And then when we started, getting called by the queen, because it's really rare nowadays to see brown and black people on royal courts, So like we were just being silly and talking to him. Another friend of mine, she's on the court. And next thing I know, he's like, oh, can we take a photo? And he's like, oh yeah, I love, y'all's accent and all this stuff. And then he realized, and he's like, well, I gotta go. I said, okay, me too. And then we just started kicking and being dramatic because he was leaving. And we didn't realize he was capturing it as we're doing it. and it brought me joy. So like this is him snapping us as me and my girlfriend are just being overly dramatic about, oh my God, the portrait maker is leaving and disappearing. And he apparently stopped and took all these photos. So I have a nice little just real section.
You are just yes ending.
Yes. Somebody was like, well, what if the answer is no? Well, that's when you go no, but however.
All right, would like you to hear some of the questions from the people?
I did have some questions. I had one about what's the most difficult. I don't know if I missed anything else.
It was the do you mold any of your leather pieces?
So leather. Now, when I say I work with leather, what I mean is this is the extent of my leather for a soul.
Oh,
With nails in it, because that was accurate. I'm not a leather worker. Like I've made a holster before for a cosplay, but it was a kit. So yeah, I'm not sure. Yeah, my bad, player. I just know how to do like regular stuff. I'm not a cool kid that does, because now
you get to watch Zoran's show for that. Because
yes, also that there's another person, actually I got a custom body harness for him, but we can talk about that forever. But oh yeah, so if you have any more questions, I'm here just shoving my ties in here now, my loops, my loop.
I will say also that Magnus, Mab's partner, is also a really great leather worker and has been gracious.
Yes.
He's amazing. It's like boils leather, does all kinds of. I was like, who the fuck boils leather? I thought you only did that when you were starving. I didn't realize it was. I thought that was soup for hungry people, but turns out like Magnus is a genius and was gracious enough to work.
Well, when we have the compound, anyway, do you knit or crochet stuff? Actually, I'm an avid crocheter. It may not be for a cosplay, just probably the key. It's kind of like my stimming thing. It's very repetitive, but it also helps me, like, stay abreast in case I do want to make something bigger with my crocheting. Knitting was not really, I'm not ambidextrous enough because I'm left-handed. So it's really easy for me to crochet better than working two things at the same time. But I have done some crocheting actually a lot for my Viking Fest, because I turned into like a type of rope the way that I did it.
Victorian London Fog says, I'm the only knitter in this community as far as I know. Represent. Nobody in this channel knits. I S2G.
Well, not everybody can be cool kids like you, me, that crochet. I know people that look at my crochet needle and go, what in the devil's stuff? And
hookers forever.
Yeah, but like, there was one time it took me years to find out that in my college, I was not the only person that was doing costuming and going to cons. And you'd be surprised. I was just like, so are we just acting like we're not nerds? Or like, I know we're at a Catholic school, but it's Jesuit. They party Catholics, like,
I've literally never heard them called that, but I'm delighted.
Let me tell you, because of what my Japanese professor did, it's definitely the party Catholics. Or maybe it was just our campus. Let's see. Any more questions?
We got some comments.
Yes.
GCB Whippy, Gabe from Australia, loves embroidery. Quad Kevin says, I have knitted and have a scarf like 15 years in the making that isn't done yet. Have I seen that scarf on you? I feel like we've talked about this.
Yeah.
London and Kara have just found each other. They're shaking hands vicariously, talking about their knitting business. Ooh, Kara does. Ooh. What?
And here I just cheat using my embroidery.
My grandmother, Electric Emma, one of my grandmothers was named Electric Emma, and she taught me to crochet and knit. I have to say she taught every one of us, but I do not remember any of it, and I regret.
See, look, y'all two vibe. Here we go.
Yeah.
Talk about we call them in the quilting community, because I quilt too, and it's called a UFO, an unfinished object, and they have their own little special place on the shelf. I have like 6 quilts that are cut out, but I've never put together. Yeah, it's pretty crazy. So back to the embroidery. I love hand embroidery. I have been trying to learn more and more stitches. Oh, what new craft tools or techniques you want to try? Oh, I will answer that ASAP. But yeah, there's different fun types of stitches that I've been trying to have time to learn and do, because some include beading, like straight up just putting the beads in the knitting. I mean, in the embroidery. Let's see. I love that. Okay, so what's a new technique, or what was it again?
Is there some new like craft tool or technique that you want to try?
Okay, I know exactly what I want to try. So there's this thing called the Ditto. And the only reason I knew about it before it ended up in Joann's is because the company that makes it sent it to their dealers first. So I worked for a quilt shop that also was a dealer for FAF. So the Ditto, I was curious, DYTTO, is actually a projector system where you have a big space that you can use. It stands all the way up. It's an actual projector that shoots down. It will grid out your table, and it can, I mean, I don't know how many they have now, but they had a selection of patterns you can do. All you had to do was put in your measurements, and that projected the proper cutting onto the fabric. So all you had to do was cut it out. No measuring, no paper patterns. It did it for you. You put it in, you put in your measurements, it makes it exactly the same size you have to do. That is the one that I really want to try. I don't know if it's worth it because I have to do so much other like historical stuff or things that I have to merge with something else, Frankenstein it. But I would love to use the Ditto, even if it was just for making cute skirts, stuff like that. And now it's way cheaper than it was when it came out. So I don't know if that's telling, but I know all the quilt ladies where I work, they were wanting it. So due to being a full-time boat person? What?
Yeah, you got to find Gabe. Like they have this fancy boat called Matilda.
Oh, I'm gonna have to find somebody on the grams then.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I was to say. That's amazing. That I'm not a rope person. Yes. Oh my gosh, my hand. I had a great aunt. She did like what's it called? The tatting and doing all that stuff to make your lace and doilies or whatever.
Yep.
And let me tell you, watching that happen, I just stared at it and then walked away. I was like, nope, I'm a nope right out on this. Absolutely not doing this.
Which is saying something for you because you are, a dab hand at many a thing that you try. I know
I try, but that right there with all no, I'll do felting before I do that. Like I will straight up not.
I have to say, as a person who doesn't do any kind of textile arts at this point in my life, whether that is from like boat knot work, shibari knot work, lace work, crochet, tatting, knitting, any of those things, weaving. I mean, like anybody, I've done a little bit of all of those things at some point.
Oh yeah.
Evelyn shudders at the idea of felt. Like I've done a little bit of all of those
felting.
Things. I just, for me, when especially like Scadians, Penzic folks, reenactors and so forth, who do a lot of I don't even know the word for it. They like hand weave all the little belts that are like super elaborate and they're like an inch wide, and it took them.
Oh, are you talking about oh my god, I have a
you know what I'm talking about, tablet weaving.
Yeah,
maybe it's kind of like
card weaving.
Yeah, it's like what Mab does with the cool little geometrical shapes, except they have these belts. And I'm like, the thing that kills me, and this is why I have to say I'm grateful that we have easy access to so many things, but at the same time, you see a piece of like tablet woven or card woven or whatever, and you're like, this belt. In fact, Mab made me one that I have as part of one of my costumes. It's red and black and gold, and she hand-made it. It's about an inch wide and 36 inches long. It must have taken her 1 million hours of careful, committed love and expensive materials to make something that only she and I know is there.
But that's
for everyone else, it's just some piece of string. It's like some piece of trim, because we usually think, well, trim. It's like $2 to $25 a yard, and you buy it off some cart at some store, and the fact that like so many people are so committed to making these beautiful, Claire Dima is another example, so committed to making these beautiful things, and they just disappear into the sort of flash and abundance of our lives. Again, super stoked to have things like heat and convenient access to
But
textiles.
we've lost, like you said, we've lost a lot of the personality and quirks because like people used to sew together all the time. Like that's why femmes back in the day got together, is so they can have a knitting circle or sewing, or some people, you know, they did it before. Like for instance, during the Civil War, quilts were a big thing. And now, you know, they're discovering quilts where it was a story of how to get away or where to go for
Right.
safety. So, you know, it's stuff that's like a lost art now. Like
Coded.
I was like the youngest person I knew that's quilting, and I was like 35. Everybody else was like 60 and up, you know?
Right. So
Yes.
Gabe says the hand making is the love, though.
It is. It really is. It
Right.
honestly, it might be painful and terrible, and you may have cried twice and drank a bottle of wine in the process. But
That's where the stab that Revel's
Yes.
talking about comes in.
that's why I like felting, because going to jail is not an option. But yeah, no, I love talking about stuff like this, even though I'm kind of like ADD, but like knowing that people actually still do this stuff, you know, like stuff that we might need in the apocalypse.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah,
One day.
absolutely. You know, again, my grandfather could make everything by hand because he grew up in one of those families where there was one pair of shoes for all of the kids, and they took a turn going to school one day a week because one of them needed to use the shoes. So
Yeah.
he could make rope and then make stuff out of rope, because once you knew how rope worked, you could build anything you needed, right?
Yep.
Like it's an amazing, again, weirdly, Claire Dima can also do that. If you go to her house, you'll notice you're like, wow, why is all this lawn furniture made out of hand woven things? Because she makes cord compulsively because she has the world's most stressful job working at the courthouse. And then she uses all the cord to weave textiles to sit on and hammocks and stuff. It's like very impressive to me.
Yeah, I could never.
Nina Lee says, my mom is a master quilter. I've made a quilt in the past. It is a beautiful art.
Does anybody want to see one of mine?
Yeah.
It's not that impressive, but let me see. I liked my fabric choice.
I'm holding my toe because my leather hole punch hit it. Evelyn, I'm not sure actually. Here's one question I did not ask Mab before stepping in to help tonight. I have no idea how long this show normally is. Does it go to 9:30? Does it go to 10? I'm having a great time.
I don't know. I'm having fun. Y'all can leave.
I'm delighted to be here. I'm like, you know, like weirdly, our numbers have actually gone up instead of down. So even though some of the less crafty gentlemen amongst us maybe are doing less talking now because maybe they don't do as much felting. Oh, but Gabe says she's got to go.
Bye.
Bye.
This one was a pain in my butt.
Is there a story? What's it about?
So this one doesn't really. It's all Korean fabric. No, these are all Japanese fabric. The Korean one's another one. But it was like the first one, one of the first ones I did, and that did I quote this one? I don't know. So these are all Japanese fabrics, and that was pretty much because my mom and dad were stationed there for a hot minute. But yeah, so like these are koi fish that I did as an applique. That I have like another one down here, but this is just a cute little lap hook. Thanks, Victoria. And then I have a nerdy one that I'm going to sneak on our bedroom, and so wait to see how long my husband notices this. Hold on. Do you think he would be feeling awkward if I put this on our bed that I made? Hold on.
Is there?
Like, would it if like homeboy just shows up?
I think you just need to be clear. Just be like, listen, man, I'm Spock. I just want you to know.
Like,
as long as you clarify who's who.
So this fabric, so this panel is not modern. This is from like the 80s or something. So I wanted to make this is one of the first things I did. I wanted to make a Star Trek one, but I wanted the original fabric, and I found one of the original panels. And then some of this other fabric is either modern or a mix of the one from like the 70s. So it's a nice little mix match. But this was the one I was going to use to terrorize my husband and just leave it on the bed. Just who's gonna know?
The premise of this quilt is phenomenal, says London. Okay, May. So I want you to hear something I'm about to say. Like, because you are comic and busy and and sort of absurdist, and you tend to like talk yourself down a little bit, even while being like an amazing nerd. I would like to put it to you that it is worth you putting a bunch of your work, your handmade work, into a gallery show. And I don't mean like to sell. I mean to be like, this is the body of work that expresses a person's unique life experience, skills, and perspective. That's what a gallery show is.
Well, that's called a quilt show. And
but no, I don't just mean your quilt. I mean like the fact that crazy ass quilt was made by the same person who was hand grommeting some split ass bitches. And
like, look at this chick.
The same person who showed up dressed as Queen Hatshepsut for my thing. Like,
look, that was fun.
It was fun. I mean,
this is my big one.
That is okay. There's no William Shatner on that, but that is fucking awesome.
Like, let's see. And then I did like one accent color, like a accent wall.
Yeah, that mulberry juice.
Yes. I don't know. Did I tell you? And y'all are about to find this out too, that know me and don't know. Did you know we got a place in Connecticut? Did I tell you that?
I think I heard something about that because of the whole like family situation.
Yes. So this, and I'm only mentioning this because I made this for that house up there. So guys, my husband's father passed away in like 2021. So he inherited all his dad's stuff because he's an only child or whatever, right? Well, his dad were one of these people. There's a reason they are his mom and his dad got divorced, but he wasn't the best person in any way, shape, or form, wink wink. But when he did pass away, the only reason we found out is because they found my phone number in his old phone.
Oh wow.
So I'm not gonna get to the morbid details of that. But anyway, so the house we have in Connecticut is in Oxford. And it has it's like a 70s mid-century modern, super cute. It's on like this huge hill in the neighborhood. So I think that's how I know it's one of the original houses, because the driveway is like 1,000 feet or something. And then it's like a split level, and it has a basement. It has like this beautiful floors, like everything. Parquet floors, original wood. Anyway, so I built that for this. Oxford, Connecticut, Oxford, not far from New Haven, ish. But yeah, so it's cute little, they have different cute little things. So I made that one to go on a wall in that house. So once I put all the thing on the edging on it, also known as binding, that's where that's getting shipped off to. As much as I love it, it would make more sense in that house. And it'll be art. My husband.
The Star Trek one, however, belongs to
Look, that is forever mine. You can bury me in it. Like the other one, I'm probably gonna send to my mom because she, I already sent her a Korean one, so I might send her a Japanese one. But
I actually need one with Klingons on it because
honestly, wait, is that bird? I don't follow one right now. I think I have a Klingon ship on that thing, but I really want Commander Riker to be an entire quilt. just his face.
But that quilt is meant to be hung over the back of a chair so he can like put his arms over chair.
Yes. Cuddled like Commander Daddy.
I don't know if you've been around enough to know this, but members of the community have started calling Paulo Danger Daddy, which is hilarious to me.
That's hysterical. That's actually pretty funny. I'm gonna just like say it because I can in his face one day.
Oh, please.
Like when he least expects it.
It's like he's had to be like, woof. Okay. Yes. If people come up to me and want to talk to Danger Daddy, and then I get to hear that. May, let me check in with you. Yes. I'm going to take a quick break from Quilting Town because we're at like the half of the hour. I wanted to make sure I knew some of the events that you had coming up because, of course, we are here to talk about your excellent skills on the sewing table. but also some of the fairs that you have. My notes say that you're going to come and do Abs Fest, which is the Asheville's Burlesque and Sideshow Festival, which is the end of May.
Yes.
Shortly after that, you're going to be at the New Jersey Renaissance Fair to do the Adventurous
Hopefully.
Yeah.
Hopefully it's a little, so I got to email her again.
We got the Adventurers Tavern sort of after party situation that Paula was in charge of for the Ren Fair. The second weekend, the New Jersey Fair, and May has agreed, as long as Creek don't rise, to be part of the after party dance party costume contest mayhem run by Danger Daddy. So as far as I know, you can catch this lady at the Swelter Fest that is the New Jersey Fair. Also my birthday.
Well, then what we doing then, girl? We need to make it a birthday party.
Sticking some bones in a cake. I don't know what we're doing.
Done.
And then I've got you down as doing the East Carolina Ren Fair.
Yes.
And the Carolina Ren Fair. When's the East Carolina Fair?
That is April. It's the third week in April. I don't have my calendar on me. But it's like the 19th, 20, something like that.
Okay.
It's only 2 days.
Okay.
So it's very new. It's a baby fair, but they've been killing it. This is their second year having a court. Because they are insane. Woo. But yeah, so that one's in Kingston, North Carolina. Let's see, let's work backwards. March is when I have the Viking experience. We are 2 weekends. You know what? Let me do this then.
It's like we have calendars, we have documents to track all this stuff.
Hold on. I mean, really though. Y'all get to see me twice. How do I cut this off? You didn't be staring at my face.
And the echo.
Boom.
You got the Viking experience.
Yes. So I have the Viking experience, the 3rd and 4th week. Then I have
April.
I have Incren, and then at the end I have this wonderful thing called a calendar, because even though I don't know numbers. So let's try this again. So I have the Viking experience in March, which is March 22nd, 23rd, then the 28th and 29th of March. And then I have Incren. Oh, I lied. That's why I left the second weekend.
And Incren, for anyone who's just getting here, is the Eastern Carolina Ren Fair, which is a smaller, newer fair than the Carolina one, which is the big one outside Charlotte.
Near the coast is where Incren is. So Incren is April 12th and 13th. And then here's where it gets real awkward. I actually will be emceeing a burlesque show in Atlanta in April. I'll be there. It's a show that's on April 24th, which is hysterical because the Festival of Legends in Apex, North Carolina is the 26th to the 27th. So let me tell you what happened. I chose violence. No. So that way, if you're in Atlanta and want to see burlesque, why MC as a flamingo or something, I haven't decided yet. But that's pretty much what's in the immediate next couple of months.
Okay, so you're doing those. We'll see you in Asheville in May, and then hopefully we'll see you in New Jersey over the summer. When is Festival of Legends? Is that March?
That is that's the one in April. The
April.
The 26th and 27th of April. Okay. And that's the one where I'm the queen.
Okay, right. And then you're doing Carolina. The big Carolina fair is in the fall, right? It's like
October. It's usually end of September, beginning of October. Obviously the calendar shifts it.
That one's sort of parallel with Maryland. So
that's when it turns into a whole other issue because some people are like,
we get to spend time with Louis, and then he goes to you because he's got a store in both places, and so we get him on our stage, and then you get him at your place.
That's funny.
And then,
so that's every October, November. And
in between, she also runs a bunch of important stuff at Dragon Con.
Oh, I guess I should tell about that awesome chaos. So I'm actually the burlesque producer for the Dragon Con Nerdlesque show. This year I have an exciting headliner, and I don't know if I should say it yet, but I mean, I know it's confirmed, but I'm waiting on some details before. You know what? Screw it. I don't think a lot of people, you know who Danger Doll was?
Yeah.
Now they're just Danger.
Okay.
They. But Danger has agreed to be my headliner this year.
What?
Yes. That's my bro, man. Like that's my boo. So because we'll actually be at a con together because they and I go way back.
Yeah.
We were they want to go to a con with me and actually hang out, not like when we're at one show it's 24/7 chaos.
Right,
Where at mine, I still have time. Like I still have time to do stuff. So that's why I have more free time to hang out with them.
Yeah.
And then my stuff is only certain points of the day. So they're just like, I'll come to hang out. Like just
That's
I need
wonderful.
a roof.
That's wonderful.
And X amount, whatever. So yeah, so that's gonna be funny and chaotic.
And a Dragon Con, of course, is Labor Day weekend in August. So that's for us, that is unfortunately for Paulo and I, we can never get to that one because it is also Gen Con.
Yeah, that's when stuff starts getting real awkward. Because like I know Labor Day, so that's gonna put us at last like dead end of August. Anyway, but yeah, so it's huge. It's 5 days, 24 hours of 5 days of programming.
Yeah. And the good news is that like none of we've got folks who are in this event with us here this evening in this show, all the way from the West Coast to the East Coast to Australia. Yep. We've got folks from around the globe here, and of course we can't all be in one place at one time without the powers of the internet. But if you happen to be in Georgia at one point, or Washington or another point, or in Australia at another point, we do have ways that we can try to find each other in real space as well as here in this sort of ethereal internet space.
I know there's a couple of people are like, I still haven't met you.
Right?
And one time they came, I can't remember who it was, but they came to the fair, but that was the one weekend I wasn't working.
Oh no.
Because I had to go do my other job.
Right.
But anyway, so let's all connect when we're somewhere in the same part of the world at times.
That's we try to make Quad Kevin says we haven't met you yet, you're on the list. Oh yeah, he's probably got you. Quad Kevin, I have a question for you, my friend. Is May currently on the Nat21 bingo card?
Yes, somebody found me and I couldn't tell you what their username was, but someone straight up found me at Ren Fair and just slid it to me, and as soon as I saw it,
yep, Jarkin says yes. So Illuminati confirmed. Yes, we have Mayhem confirmed.
That's one. But yeah, I'm gonna see if now that I'm doing more fair stuff, I think I'll be able to be like, hey guys, I'm in this fair.
That's
hint, wink, wink.
Because I mean, of course, we have a big, diverse community, and we want to keep it that way. And there's because there's Ren fairs and there's fairy festivals, and there's steampunk festivals. Like it's not our boundaries are not absolute, but it's like you sort of have to have some kind of notion to crystallize things around, so it's not just an assortment of people that I know isn't the criteria for the channell.
And that's why
I'm glad that you're doing
too. I suck at names.
Huh?
Oh, sorry. You lagged. I didn't realize you were talking. I'm sorry. I lagged real bad.
It's all right.
Go ahead.
It's all right. I think at this point, the show is technically only an hour, and we're an hour and 41 minutes in, so we can probably wrap it up. Unless does anybody have any other questions or comments for May before we, pat her on the head and tell her that she's awesome and that we're excited to have her back around some more. I know Evelyn's got to roll at this point because it's late. Why don't we see if we can get the Ko-Fi for Mab and Magnus up, since they're dealing with some grief-related expenses and unexpected challenges up there. We can pop that up back up here on the screen if we can.
There we go.
There it is. So if you're so inclined, there's no obligation, but of course sometimes our people find themselves dealing with unexpected medical expenses, grief, unemployment, and a time of extreme difficulty. So any of those things. Or just, tips. Tips are good for people who make their living in the arts. Yeah. Meanwhile, while we leave that up, I'm going to say, London says, May, what is your favorite campaign you've been part of? They want to go Google you up here in the, they want to go look you up in the streams.
God. Now I'm trying to go back through my list. Which one?
Oh my God, there are all those ones where
all-
Shakespeare and Carmel were your parents. Remember
Oh my
that?
God, yes.
They
Yes.
were like
Wasn't that-
they were like the Howells, like
Yes.
the-
It was so fun, mommy, darling.
was it Groundhog's Day? Is that what it was? Like,
Groundhog's Day, I think.
oh my
Yeah, it was Groundhog's
gosh.
Day.
they were like communicating with you through some orb or something, and you get all these like posh, snooty messages inside.
Yes,
the
it was so obscene.
Oh, it was so good, and you couldn't find.
I'm pretty sure if y'all just type Mayhemmer in the channel, it'll probably pop up. Like,
Yes. Yeah, Shakespeare and Carmel the Metatron were her parents, and they were like, "Darling, I was so quaint that you're out with these adventurers." Oh, and like, we're the biggest elitist, like, strangely still charming, but like obnoxious elitist with superpowers.
Yes. It
was like the poor little rich girl who had run away from her parents to go like live
look
life with the, oh my God, yes, London. I encourage you to find that. So there was that, and then there's the part
but
where
Savage Moon actually is one of my, if I had to pick. Oh, look, check it out now for real.
Yep, definitely. So Savage Moon, which is
Savage
of course
where I'm like a whole like god or something. I don't know how it even happened. All I know is like I transcended the world or something.
And that one was run for us by Malex, who of course is one of the OG D&D guys, one of like the first 6 people to sit around a table and invent TTRPGs in that context, has come to do some games with us on the channel and is generally a good egg. Savage Moon has so many emotions, said Quad. And Mab's character straight up died on that one. Didn't they get killed?
Yeah, I think they killed Mab.
They killed Mab off.
Yes.
And we were like, are we doing that on the channel? Is that too real? And, it's like, yeah.
Yeah,
so.
Mab did die, and it was a whole thing. Like, yes, it's gonna be an emotional roller coaster.
That death was wild. Yeah. So if you'd like to catch May in the IRL, then there's a whole world of adventures. Or if you just want to catch her in the backlog of the last 5 years of adventures.
Yeah, I mean, just hit me up on Facebook. Instagram is usually where I do a lot of stuff.
Do I know what an Esca is? And the Escas?
Am I old? What's an Esca?
If you're old, I'm probably a zombie. All right, Quad Kevin, help us hold people out.
What we got? What's
Oh, all the characters of Z. Oh. Thank you.
That's right.
Google Translate. Please help me understand my own life.
I was like, and then I forgot yep. See, this is why you're a real one, bro.
Definitely, and she's also done a bunch of appearances on Gothic Horror as various characters.
Yes, look, Gothic Horror. There's some stuff on there that will probably make you consider rethinking your world.
Yeah,
and maybe
the Gloom Master
be more happy there.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I think that's probably what we have time for because Paul should be flying home in like within an hour, so I should probably like go put the house together or whatever.
Surprise him.
Here's a virtual round of applause for our lovely guest, Mayhemmer, and a little love and support for Mab and Magnus during their difficult time. And appreciation for everybody here who chose to show up and spend an hour and a half listening to us talk about, things like Renfair potty logistics and how to do a grommet.
And how you need to have Big Bertha, your grommet, just right there.
And yes, and remember that hopefully in the future, we're hoping to soon have a leather crafting show with Zoran Famad. That's something we can hopefully look forward to. I know that your regularly scheduled Tuesday night shows with the Danger Daddy should be starting up again soon. Once we get back from this crazy Pavia thing, we should be starting that mayhem.
Mm-hmm.
The old Mayhemmer mayhem. And I'll be doing my once a month tarot show. I'm probably going to be working a little bit with my Yuletide Monsters Oracle deck because I've actually been asked at KrampusCon to work with it, and I'll use you guys to bone up and remember a bit about how to use it. I went to Phantasmagoria today, and it was super fun, and it was a pleasure to see everybody do their thing. I'd like to, comment on that for my personal experience. Thanks so much for Revelyn for coming not only to my house this week, but also to the channel. Unexpected visit, and love to everybody. I think that's it. Love to everybody. Bye. And
Love
if the
you.
moderators
Bye.
can take us out.